It was Christmas time. My wife and I were staying at her childhood home, where her mother now lived all alone. Well, not if you include the cats. The house was on a quiet cul-de-sac in the suburbs. If you're picturing freshly mowed lawns, American flags, and the empty sidewalks, you're picturing it right. It's a single-story home with an attached garage out front. The garage had 2 doorways, apart from the electric garage door, of course. One leads to the garden and backyard. This had an old doggy door from their days with dear old Max, rest in peace, that he had covered with a piece of nailed-in wood. That had always made me slightly uncomfortable before, but I figured it had been that way for years, so what was the worst that could happen? The second door leads to the kitchen, hollow core. It could stop a mouse, but not much else. Definitely not something that wanted in, or someone. We were asleep in my wife's childhood bedroom in the front of the house. 3 a.m. I'm in that deep, dark recess of sleep. You know, you're in the diving bell, you're submerged hundreds of meters below the surface of black water, protected from the real world by miles of nothingness. Then I heard it. The scream. "What are you doing?" It was my mother-in-law's voice, echoing down the hallway. To me, lost in the sea of sleep, it sounded like a jet engine roaring past my eardrum. I bolted up. What happened next happened in a matter of seconds. But about that scream, even though I was dead asleep, I heard enough of it to sense an urgency behind it. This wasn't an, "oh, you scared me" type of scream. This was different, and I knew it. Not consciously, but my lizard brain, that piece we retained from our primitive ancestors, knew something was wrong. I watch and read a fair amount of true crime, and this scream awakened that horrible fear. The one that says, "This can't be happening to me, can it?" Honestly, in that second of the night, it sounded like someone was about to be murdered. You ever wonder if you're a fight-or-flight type of individual? I always have, and I came to know something about myself after this night. I'm a fighter. I leapt out of bed, growled, yes, growled, in the manliest voice I could muster, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker," and took off running. I tore open the bedroom door and ran into the hallway. There at the end I saw my mother-in-law, nightgown on, look of utter shock on her face, standing still. We make eye contact as I continue towards her. As she turns her head, looks directly into the kitchen. I hurry past her and round the corner into the kitchen. The hollow core door is obliterated, shards everywhere. I look through the open frame and see the electric garage door is open. I push ahead. As I run into the garage, I hear it, the sound of someone hopping into a running car just out of view. Just as I make it onto the driveway, I see a car peeling out from the sidewalk adjacent to the house. But the adrenaline is still pumping, and who am I to say no to adrenaline? So like an idiot, I run, barefoot, after the car. I give it a good go, but I'm no Michael Johnson, and even he couldn't catch a speeding car. It soon vanishes down the street and I'm left all alone. The police showed up within 3 minutes, which, I have to say, makes me feel a lot more at ease with my mother-in-law living there. They took our statements. My mother-in-law said she heard a noise, the hollow core door being knocked in, and walked into the kitchen where she encountered the burglar, a small-framed woman. The police theorized that she was working as part of a team. Her job was to squeeze through the doggy door, kick in the hollow core, and open the electric garage door for her accomplice. According to the police, the burglars most likely thought nobody was home. Fortunately, my mother-in-law must have caught her off guard and scared her, in addition to my manly growl, of course. But it feels good to know that everyone was safe, and to learn that I guess I've got a little bit of fight in me. And for the record, we bought the heaviest goddamn wooden door you've ever seen to replace that hollow core. I'd like to see a mouse try and get through that. To give you a little background, I have a nervous tic where I laugh at the most awkward and inappropriate moments. I've always said that I would probably laugh even if someone was causing me physical harm. Now to the actual story. My family and I owned a small business in a not-so-great part of town. One day, I was just eating my sandwich and watching The Young and the Restless as I did every day with a coworker. Also, we were the only 2 there at the time. I looked up and saw a figure peering through our display window. But I just assumed they were checking out the awesome display my mom put in there, because sometimes people only came to see what creative display she had come up with that season. They suddenly opened the door and shut it, and I thought, that's odd. So I stand to see what's going on, That's when I see a tall figure with a full-face bandana mask on, with only the eyes and mouth cut out. He comes through the door and demands us give him the money. Naturally, I freak out, but I've always been told to just give them what they want, and don't protest to it, which is what I had planned on doing. Next thing I know, my coworker stands up and says run as she's running towards the back. So I was like, okay, and ran too. I went through the back door, assuming she was right behind me, and I get all the way to the back of the driveway and turn around to see that she's not there, so I start panicking. Where is she? I'm just standing there like a dumbass because I honestly don't know what to do at this point, and I'm still trying to process what the hell happened. I start walking down to the bank on the road beside us to tell them to call the cops, since I left my cell phone inside. Then I heard a deep-voiced man say, "Take me to the money," in a hateful tone. I turn around, and there's a man pointing a gun at me, so I just say okay, while freaking out obviously, and go with him. I then start laughing like some kind of crazy person, and he gets agitated. He then tells me to walk faster with the gun pointed at my back, so I tell him that I'm sorry, which why the hell should I be sorry? So I give him the whole $50 that we had in our register, and he takes me to the back and tells me to stand there and count to 20. So I do, and he says then yell for my coworker to try to figure out where the hell she went. Like, did they have her or what? No worries though, she was safe hiding in the bathroom. The cops never found out who did it, but they didn't actually seem too concerned since he only got $50, never mind the fact that someone had to go through this traumatic experience. Also on a side note, I had posted on Facebook that I would probably say I'm sorry to someone even if they were trying to rob me 2 days before this happened. Luckily this was a while ago, and I have less anxiety about it than I used to. Although all these people wearing bandana masks due to COVID have put me on edge lately. So to the robber who held a gun to me for $50, let's not meet again.